Kia ora. Oh, have I got myself plugged in? No, I haven't. Aquarius. This is your reading for this new moon in Cancer. Let's see what's happening on the storyline this week for you lovely Aquarians out there. Do check out your moon, sun, ascendant, moon, ascendant, Venus and Jupiter. Jupiter juice. Let's see what's happening for Aquarius. We've got them face down. Oh, let's see. Oh, we've got the Hierophant. We've got the Princess of Wands, the Queen of Discs, and we'll talk about them in a moment. And then what have we got? And we will clarify if you haven't watched this before, watched this channel before. Aquarius, wonderful. So we start with the Hierophant. I always see the Hierophant as a figure, a mentor figure, often. Actually, I do see it like that in this, at this current point. It is information of a kind of possible spiritual nature, but that you are working with in the material world, or in your material world is what I'm saying. The Princess of Wands is a wonderful impulse, expression of a kind of overcoming things, yes, overcoming hurdles. You know, you're on this sort of track, but it's sort of almost like a purification of sorts. I kind of see it as sort of shedding a few old attitudes about yourself, from yourself, like shedding them. We see here there's an altar aflame. You know, there are roses aflame. It's sort of like a purification, purifying nature of fire. Fire being, in this context, you know, expression, like just personal expression, overcoming some hurdles, that overcoming behaviours that don't work for you anymore. Overcoming attitudes is what I see. The attitude that you've had about yourself and maybe your abilities, or could be anything, Aquarius. Then we have the Queen of Discs sitting up there looking back. Like a review sometimes is necessary. This particular Queen in the Thoth deck does do a review, because he is looking back and seeing all that terrain that's been covered, like desert areas. Yeah, I got through that. Swamp. Yeah, I got through that. Fertile ground. Yes, I moved through that, and here I am on top of my mountain. It's pretty good. And then here we see this beautiful Four of Discs. Thoth deck, it's called Power, because it's an incredibly strong structure, and there's one way in and one way out, just here, and that is through Malkut. That is through this material world. So we're in a pretty good, I'm just stretching a bit, Aquarius, we're in a really good position. But let's go through and clarify. Can we look at the Hierophant for Aquarius, please? So we'll just clarify these and then pull a few more cards at the end. Really lovely and simple. Mineral rock crystal. It's got directions. We'll pull a oracle card. Brian Froud, Pixie and Fairy. So let's look at the Hierophant for Aquarius, please. This information, yeah, the decision. I think it's been quite conscious decision. As I said before, mentor, esoteric, spiritual information has allowed you to consciously see those actual attitudes that you have about yourself, that you have had. Sometimes we can be quite unconscious with that. With those things, we don't necessarily, kind of see them for how they play out in this physical world. But then sometimes we get a little key, we get given a little key, and suddenly, boom, we see it. You made a conscious decision here somewhere. We get the Two of Discs. Excuse my finger, I just did something to it. Two of Discs. Expansion, contraction. We're keeping this in balance. There's a lot of movement around us in this Two of Discs. We make a decision, though, at some point. I think we have. I speak of we, Aquarius, speaking of you. Making decisions. And what was that? I do believe it began with something. It began with this Four. I mean, we're bookended here. We've got this Four of Discs. We've got the Four of Discs at the end. We made a... I don't know how to verbalize this, but there's something about through here thus far that you've let go of some old attitudes that you've had about yourself and who you are and what you deserve or don't. I don't like the word deserve, but what you choose or what you don't. There's some thread running in here that what your boundaries have been in the past, you've not compromised. You've not sort of, or maybe they've altered a little bit. I mean, they always do. Boundaries, I mean personal boundaries. It's just what I get, that they're still quite firm and confident, but they're different now. They've changed in between this purification through fire and this review, purification through new expression. They've altered, Aquarius. It's quite interesting. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Let's look at this Princess of Wands. Princess of Wands, please. It's overcoming, but letting go. Overcoming? Letting go. It's just a shift in perspective. We get the Eight of Discs, a card, a bit of work. Perfecting something, working on yourself, working on a project, working at achieving something, whatever that is. It's whatever it is or has been. Excuse me. Hanged man. Go into hanged man mode in order for some penny to drop, if that's the right word, in order to understand something new, to understand something that's not new. It's been part of you for a long time. But we go into hanged man stage in order to see it. We remove ourselves. Nothing much coming in, nothing going out. But when we come out of this, we know our perspective has changed. We look the same, but our perspective has changed. Queen of Discs, please. Queen of Discs. We have the Great Lesson card. Speaking of perspective, the 5 of Cups. Yeah, all we had to do was actually turn around here. We understand this disappointment. We understand sorrow, disappointment, all of that stuff. But we also understand with the 5s, it's a lesson in perspective. And what does that give us here? From that point, we can build again. We can build new foundations. We can pull in new resources. People amongst those includes other people, and create something new, Aquarius. It's beautiful. And that just flew out, the 10 of Cups. Celebratory. Emotional fulfillment in your physical world. You can see it. You're feeling it. It's around you. And then the 4 of Discs at the end again. But in the Thoth deck, it is called Power. A great level of personal power. We get the 6 of Coin, the 6 of Discs coming out. You know, your journey thus far has been as much about yourself as it is about others in your world. We have the this generous figure, the 6, beautiful card of balance and flow. We know money is like water, but this generous fellow or felless, it's really that, again, it's like expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction. We get on this sort of, level of generosity that it starts to, this has been quite a thing actually today, it starts to become like a series of circuits, like a conduit. Is that the right term? I don't know, electronics, or it's about electrical energy. It's about energy. And it's sort of like all the, we've got all our little pegs in the right circuits, as it were, and it becomes a free flow continuum, Aquarius. I think you've achieved something major here. So let's get a little crystal mineral rock card, and then we'll get a, or should we just pull randomly a Brian Fruit? Speaking of water, singer, isn't it? Singer of the Chalice. This is like an Ace of Cups. Water has no boundary unless it's, you know, unless it's sort of channeled and contained. Beautiful. Let's get a, let us get a mineral rock. Pull that one. A mineral rock or crystal. What have we got? We've got probably the most well-known crystal for you, Aquarius, is clear quartz. Now that's a wonderful energetic generator, isn't it? Psychic abilities, no doubt. Enhanced intuition, mental clarity and magnified energy. Yes, it does. It is used in various pieces of equipment, the clear quartz. So look at that. Talk about generating a lot of zizz. And we'll get an art oracle card for you, Aquarius. Let's see. Can we get one to jump for Aquarius this week? Oh, yes. Oh. Charles and Ray Eames, you know, the pretty stylish furniture. Life, work, inspiration. I like that little figure on the wall. Design your days, don't plan them. Easier said than done sometimes. Aspire to profound practicality. Well, I think you do, Aquarius. Be unbending in your flexibility. So that's quite nice, isn't it? Whew. Okay. On that note, I hope you enjoyed that reading today. Enjoy this new moon in Cancer. Very beautiful, loving, gentle, wanting to be within as opposed to without. Take good care, Aquarius. Ka kite. Cheerio for now.